What you're about to see is a pickup, text, and date for two separate girls that are sort of intertwined because I met them both on the same day. While I was texting them, I had plans with them both the same day. They flaked on me both the same day. And then I kept in touch with them, got them again on a date on the same day, ended up going on both dates, and ended up taking both girls home. So I'm going to break down all of that, both of the dates, both of the texts, and both of the pickups from start to finish for you right here, right now. So let's get into it. Hey, pardon me. You look so beautifully New York right now. You're very welcome. I don't know, it's very, as it should be, so to speak.
Oh, sweet of you.
Well, thank you.
What are you doing in New York?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, why do I live here?
Yeah, what are you up to?
Well, today I'm just kind of hanging out. I wanted to get away from my computer for a little bit and, like, you know, enjoy more of a pastoral, old-fashioned existence, so to speak. And then I saw this girl looking so adorable under the tree, and I was intrigued. I was like, she could be really cool, so maybe I should go say hi and find out.
Thank you.
What is your name? I'm like sitting on a root right now. Hang on. Yeah, there's like a sharp thing here though.
Oh, careful.
Yeah, I'm about to sit on that. All right. What is your name? That was, yeah, you have the most polite handshake. Maybe you're like, pardon me.
Yeah, I'm definitely not a manly.
Well, that's good. I hope there are not too many manly things about you, because that would be sad.
We'll see how ambitious I am this summer.
All right.
Doing absolutely nothing.
Well, it could be fun.
Enjoying it.
Well, if you find yourself doing absolutely nothing, you could hang out with, you know, an elegant, charming stranger and grab a drink sometime. It's an option. Possibility.
Yeah.
I like your expressions.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm very shy around strangers, so.
So I should keep that in mind and know that. Okay. Well, I hope I don't make you.
Especially strangers in the park.
Why in the park specifically?
I'm kidding.
All right. Well, fair enough. I hope I'm not too overwhelming and, you know.
No. I welcome new friends, new countries.
As do I. And you seem both modest and sweet, and also at least somewhat intelligent. So that's positive. Indeed. So, I'm trying to think. I have plans with friends, and then I'm busy. I don't know. I'm tempted to figure out a time to hang out and get to know you, but I don't know if it'll work. So now, see, I'm touring, so I want to keep talking to you, but you do look legitimately cold. You're literally bundling yourself up right now.
I'm always cold, though.
Really? Well, it's because here's what you need to do. You start eating a few more calories and going to the gym less often, and then you won't be so cold all the time.
I don't go to the gym that much, but thanks.
Yeah, fair enough. What time are these plans with these friends you have?
Probably in like half an hour to
Okay.
45 minutes.
Okay. So, if A, you didn't already have a coffee, and B, you didn't have plans, I would totally take you for like a coffee or a smoothie or something. As is, what does the rest of your weekend look like? Work. That sounds brutal, actually.
It doesn't sound very fun, but it's good money, actually. And
Yeah.
I'm not really doing anything. I didn't have any crazy plans this weekend, so.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I don't know. Would you like to, sometime when we're both free?
Do that?
Yeah? Okay.
To that?
I legitimately love, I don't know, the look on your face is so good, because it's so, like, elegantly calm, but, like, just a little bit sensual.
All right. I'll take it.
You're welcome. Okay. I'm gonna make you spell it yourself in a second, but what is a number first? I just got that. It feels so delicate. It's like so tiny. I feel like I'm just like a snap it in half all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
mine is definitely not the same. Here.
Okay, cool. So that first meetup was pretty straightforward, a little on the friendly side, if anything. It was just kind of a longish, friendly conversation. But the good thing about that is you actually will get more solid numbers a lot of times with the friendly approach, right? Getting to know her well, making her feel comfortable with you will a lot of times be more likely to get her on a date than making it super, super sexual. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like crazy sexual and like super intimate and whatnot. The other thing you'll notice is I was planning on actually taking her somewhere right then and there. That's my priority. Like, phone numbers are great, texting is great, but if you can take the girl somewhere right then and there, by all means. But the problem is she had other plans, so then I adjusted from there. And again, I dotted my I's, crossed my T's, have some idea of plans, had the idea that we're gonna get together, all those things that we talk about to make the number solid. So just a very proficient, solid number with a good amount of time spent with her before the number, after the number. Again, all the things you want in a pickup. Now let's look at the second pickup. Hello. I don't know how you managed to look like sophisticated amidst this mess, but I approve.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
No.
This one's full of shit. This one works. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm a bad liar.
Yeah. Are you good at other things?
No,
The look you
I'm
just
bad
gave
at
me.
everything that I do.
Damn. You and I better not hang out. We'll just like be a disaster.
See, that's not a good idea.
I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm just bad at like relationships and shit. So
I'll have this all of us.
I have commitment issues. It's terrible.
See?
Bad news.
Nice advertising for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how to sell yourself, like really.
I've never
no one's
I've
looking
never
for
really
that, so
tried.
change your technique.
Actually, I like your hair though.
Thank you.
Is this
I used to be shaved.
Got it?
I'm growing it.
Huh? It means you think for yourself.
That's what this haircut means?
Yeah.
I think for myself?
Yeah, you
Alright.
think for yourself.
I'll take that.
I agree. All right, so I'm tempted to like hijack you guys' plans and make you have fun and drink tonight, and I'm kind of tempted to run away too because you give me that look and I don't know what to do with it. So I'm torn, shall we say?
You're torn?
Yes.
Close.
Huh?
Close.
Sorry, I pronounce it Spanish because it's the only language I know that rolls an R, so it's the best I can do.
Close enough.
Thank you.
Just fun.
That's what I.
You're really funny.
That's what I go with. Anyway. I'm torn now. How long have you known this one?
Long time. Way too long.
Thank you. Probably 6 years.
See, you give even better endorsements than I give him.
Yeah. He's kind of all right.
You're like, she's a fucking
They don't
disaster.
know how fucking amazing. Actually.
Yeah, who
She's
would
right.
know? Is she? All right. So in that case, we can be friends. We can hang out, but just like no biographical facts, nothing Googleable. I don't want
How long have
you
you been,
stalking me and
here?
getting involved in my life. Is that okay?
No.
No. What, you have to stalk me? This is okay. That shit just got weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stalker.
We used to come here in
I know you have to
college,
look a little
like,
bit. I'll tell you what is as it before the age of 18, what is the most trouble you ever got into? I want to know how mischievous you are.
Before the age of 18, I was an angel.
Okay. And
I was
then,
a tomboy till I was 16.
Oh really? What sports do you play?
What?
Do you play in sports?
Yeah, I play soccer with the guys.
Now you've been just endeared yourself.
You're just like, mwah. Seriously.
Seriously.
I
Really?
was a tomboy till I was 15, 16.
All right. When I was
So no, I was a...
This man
pretty much, yeah.
prominent soccer in college. Pro soccer player for a little bit.
That was
Played for a while.
I kind of love
Seriously,
soccer
you look like
a lot.
someone.
Yeah?
Probably saw him playing soccer.
Yeah. Once upon a time, years ago, when I was young and healthy, you saw me playing soccer. Now I'm like old and fat, but there was a time.
We all grow old. We all get old.
It's true.
It's nature.
It's true. I mean, you're in your late 20s. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
I love the look she gives on that.
Still better than 35.
Yeah.
Be happy.
Exactly.
all
Someone told her
right.
she looks like 35.
Yeah, I told her.
She freaked out.
Really? Someone told you that? You don't.
Yeah,
Thank
actually.
you.
You have like that cherubic, angelic
Yeah, really.
face.
You got little
Thank you.
dimples.
Yeah.
No, just one. Just one dimple.
Singular dimple.
I had an accident when I was a
Singular
kid, right?
Yeah.
I know.
I like it.
You were saying?
All right, soccer player. I guess I'll take it. I'd rather just grab a drink now, but if you want, we can do numbers. To be fair, I mean, like, if we're gonna like hang out another time later, we might as well just hang out now. But
I don't know what we're gonna do.
I can make a few suggestions.
Cheer up on Friday.
What? Very good. Sorry, it's a really bad time, man. Really bad time.
No.
Good luck, though. Good luck.
Have a fun night.
Thank you, too.
No, I say you give me my number and I'll call you.
I give you your number? I'm the stalker.
No, sorry. You give me your number and I'll call you.
All right, get out your phone. All right. What are you doing? What is today? Today is Saturday, Friday. Saturday's a Sunday. What are you doing on Monday?
Work.
Working? Until when? 6 or 7?
6:37, yeah.
I have a question for you. If we were to grab a happy hour drink, would you endorse that? Would you be like,
She endorsed that.
Oh, you think she needs my approval?
I don't think she needs it, but you're a good friend, so, I'd prefer it with than without.
Yeah, I endorse it.
You endorse it? All
She
right.
agrees with it.
She agrees with it?
I'm gonna think about it.
Sounds good. We'll talk. We'll go have adventures. You go have adventures. We can share adventures later. You can text me your adventures. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of texts.
I'm kidding.
Fucking hell.
Freaking out. I'm really kidding.
Friends are really good at instigator. Like.
Just a little bit, yeah. As you noticed, the vibe on this pickup was a lot different than the vibe on the previous pickup. The other one was a lot more like just platonic, get to know you, take your time. This one was a lot more challenging, a lot more testy, that sort of thing, a lot more back and forth, right? And I had a lot of fun with this one, but different vibes, but the same stuff in terms of getting the number, right? Get the number in her phone, make sure to stay after, make sure to set tentative plans, all those things, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, handling your detail work to make the number solid. So very different interactions, very similar result in terms of got a solid number, now we're gonna follow up with it. And I got both of these the same day, so you're gonna notice as I go through the text that I'm gonna get them both like pretty on the same time. They're both gonna flake on me at the same time. I'm gonna go to Europe for both of them at the same time, and then I'm gonna meet up with them again at the same time. So let's get into the text. I'll show you the text for one girl, then the text for the other, and then we'll get into the dates. So this is the text breakdown for the first girl, the one I met in the park, all right? So I first text just my name, Todd, and she goes, have a good night. And then, this is a really good sign, the next day, she texts, so you're from Vegas, question mark? Okay, so she's double texting. She didn't like that I didn't text her back. She's feeling a little needy. She liked me. This is a really good sign. All right, so I know she likes me, but that doesn't mean my work is done. So what I want to do here, when you get a logical sort of a statement, what do you want to do? You want to respond to it, but then you want to like spice it up a little bit. Either offer some value, flirt a little bit, or go towards making plans. So here I say from Colorado, which is the logical part, but I lived there for a bit, as in Vegas for a bit. So I guess that makes me both wholesome and naughty, wink. Right? The wholesome and naughty thing, that's flirting, that's adding value, that's making it more interesting. So her response, you could say so, was just in Vegas a couple months back, have yet to make a trip out to Colorado, which part? Okay, so again, similar to actually the initial pickup, right? You notice the tone. This is just a very logical, conversational type of thing. Very friendly, but logical conversational. She clearly likes me, but I have to be the one to keep spicing it up. However, because she likes me, and because I have a short time in town to meet up with her, I'm going to really kind of push for it a little bit. So I say, I grew up near Boulder. Just out of curiosity, what are you doing tomorrow? Right? I have a short period of time. I have to go for the plans quickly, so I'm doing it. So she says, so this job that she's doing is going until Tuesday or Wednesday. She'll be working until about 8, and she'll try and make it to the gym or yoga afterwards, and yourself. So basically, it sounds like she's really fucking busy, right? It sounds really busy, but she is intrigued and she's asking me plans. So it's a little bit of a mixed message. It sounds like she wants to hang out, but she is legitimately busy. So I'm gonna try for it, just because like I don't really have another option since I'm leaving town. So I say, was planning on persuading a healthy yoga girl to come for a drink with me before I leave for Europe. And so she replies, tempting. I'd probably take you up on the offer if I were a bit closer. Okay, well, that's positive, but it's also a no, right? So it's a no, but it's a no with a specific objection. So we need to deal with this. And when you deal with objections, what you want to do is you find out the details of the objection first. So I'm just going to ask a question here, find out the details. Where are you coming from? So she says one place, says should be apartment hunting in another place for a certain date. but my current schedule isn't too conducive for it. So she's telling me her location, and her location actually is quite far away. It's actually, not convenient at all. However, I'm going to try and play it nicely and see if I can make things happen. So I'm going to say that's not too terrible. I'm about to have a meeting the next few hours, but if we can figure out the travel thing, can I look forward to your company? So I'm trying to see what's going on here, trying to see if it's a possibility, etc. Right? She hasn't agreed to anything, but it could happen. So she says, I don't know if I can make any promises. The next few days are just looking tough with work. I can always make it up to you with 2 drinks when you get back, ? And this is something girls do, right? She wants to get together with me. Don't get me wrong. At this point, she wants to get together with me. But in her mind, if we're meant to be, right? Because girls, they're meant to be means for a relationship or for something long-term. If it's meant to be, obviously we'll still be in touch. Obviously we'll keep talking through Europe. And obviously there's no rush. There's no need to make it a big deal right now. They don't see the urgency, right? Because what they don't understand, they feel like they're going to like you just as much later on, right? But what's going to happen actually is they're going to forget. Other experiences will happen, you'll fade from their memory, and it won't work out. So in a perfect world, yeah, you'll get 2 drinks later on. And in the real world, you have a month away, she'll hook up with some other guy, and then that's that. Okay, so it doesn't really work that way. So here, I don't want to be pushy. I'll be like, that's fine, it makes sense. But at the same time, I do want to keep being pushy, right? So I don't want to appear pushy, but I do want to push for plans, right? Not butthurt, but persistent. So I say understood, and of course, but I'll be traveling for a while, so you might start to miss me, right? A little bit cocky, a little bit instigating, but also I'm letting her know I'll be traveling for a while, because she might think if I say I'm going to Europe, I'm just going to Europe for a week or a few days or something like that. Well, okay, fine, it makes sense to see me. I'm going for a month, so she doesn't know that, right? So maybe that'll motivate her. Maybe if she knew that, okay, she'd be more willing to push her plans around for me. So I'm trying. A lot of times this sense of urgency can be very, very useful. She goes, oh, really? I think I'd miss you more if I saw you tonight and had a good time with you, which is totally right. And that's actually totally why I want to meet up with her, because I do want her to miss me more, right? I do want to have that good time, even if it didn't lead to sex, right? Even if it was quick and it did lead to sex, having that good time and having that experience would mean that it'd be very likely we'd hang out after Europe. Not hang out before Europe makes it very unlikely. Right? And she's actually keying into that very, very, very accurately in this case. However, this is kind of a shit test, right? It's a rejection of sorts. So how do you deal with shit tests? You just pass them, okay? So I'm just going to pass the shit test and leave it at that. I said, haha, well, if you're looking to avoid a good time, we definitely shouldn't hang out, right? So essentially, yeah, look, if your goal is to not have any fun, you're right, let's not hang out, right? It's kind of a push away, it's kind of a whatever, right? And she appreciates it. She goes, well played, sir. When exactly are you back? All right, so now she's more interested. She's trying to figure it out. She's trying to make plans. She's on board. So I say July 25th, I think. She's like, seriously? I thought you were just going for a couple weeks. So see, when she's trying to make the plans for after Europe, she was thinking it wasn't that big of a deal. Well, when it's a month, that's more of a deal. So I'm like, 4 weeks, hence the desire to hang out before I leave. She says, well, you're hitting up quite a few countries, or are you all packed at least? So what she's doing here is she likes me, but she doesn't think she can make it. She's a little nervous about it. So she's just changing this up. She's trying to keep it pleasant, keep it nice, but she's nervous about the meetup, either because of schedule or because she's just nervous. So I go, pretty much, speaking of traveling, I promise I'm worth the commute. So this is a little bit pushy, but I'm being cute about it at least. Right? And again, this is a lot more hardball than I'd normally play it. I'm only doing this because I'm out of town the next day. I would normally never push this hard. She goes, I don't doubt it. I just don't know how fun I'd be after a long day. Also, probably wouldn't make it to the city until about 10, right? So for her, in her mind, right, coming to the city at 10, which is like an hour commute for her, it turns out, means if she were to make it worthwhile, that means she has to stay till at least 1 or 2. Then she has this prospect of going way back out there or staying over. She doesn't necessarily want to commit to a situation where she's staying over because it might feel slutty. It is a big investment for her, right? It is a big investment, so it's a big ask. It's not that she doesn't want to do it, she clearly does, but it's a big investment. So what I'm going to try and do now is reduce that investment. I'm trying to make it easier on her. So I'm like, well, I don't typically leave Manhattan, but if I came to your area, could you ensure the banter would be of high quality? And so I'm going to say, basically, I would come to her, right? I would go to her. It's not ideal, but if it's the only way I can see her, I'll go do it, potentially. Now, the downside, which you'll find out later, is I'm actually texting this other girl and possibly making a date with her, so I'm kind of playing both sides of this. I don't even know if I would go even if she said yes, but I'm at least playing it and trying, okay? She says, I wouldn't make you come all the way out to her location, right? Which is fair enough. It's a commute for me, it's a commute for her. I'm not even that excited about going out there, but I would do it because it's the right thing to do, right? And because, you know, it's a little bit of a hassle, but like the date would be very good. I have very good confidence in it, so it's worth it. Okay, so she says she wouldn't want me to come all the way out there. So I say I don't mind at all as long as I get her name on her A game at the end of the journey. But if you're not excited to meet up, we can just touch base in a month, right? So here it's kind of a bit of a takeaway. At this point, I've kind of like figured it's not gonna happen, but I've also figured if we have to wait a month, it's really gonna go cold. So I'm trying one last tactic. I'm trying this like sort of takeaway, this like challenging her to get her invested, that kind of thing, to see if it'll work, right? And it turns out it doesn't work. She says I'm far from my A game and it's only 6 p.m. So at this point, I'm like, whatever, fuck it. Probably not going on. Plus, I already have like other plans in the works, whatever, too. So I'm like, okay, forget it, not gonna happen. So I'm gonna make one last kind of attempt, but at this point, I'm just like kind of blasé, whatever it is, I'll deal with it, whatever. So I'm making one last attempt, but I'm still trying to keep it good and keep it non-try hard, so it can be good for later as well. I was gonna say, LOL, up to you, but just know there's insanely cute, amazing, and ever so modest, very cute joke there, ever so modest man who wants to see you tonight. These things don't come along every day, tongue out. And she goes, ever persistent as well, ha. And that's her way of saying you're kind of getting a little pushy, right? Now, in a positive way, and she's appreciating it, she's flattered, but she's like, okay, look, you're kind of pushing it, right? So at this point, I'm just gonna be like, done with it, I'm not gonna push anymore. So I go shrug. If you'd like to talk after work, give me a call. If not, have a good night. Right, and this is kind of like it's a bit of a text blow off, but these kind of things can work. Again, all of this, understand this, all of this stuff is only because I'm leaving town the next day. If I wasn't leaving town the next day, there is no way I would possibly consider pushing this hard, okay? She says, I guess you didn't like my joke, huh? I'm definitely struggling and need to do this work for about 12 hours tomorrow. If it was any other week, I probably would make it out. And then I don't respond to that for about 10 minutes. She double texts, I can give you a call when I get home. And this is actually ideal, right? The ideal and proper way to play this at this point is this. I'm not gonna meet up with her this night, but if I can get her on the phone, in terms of creating a bond, the phone call is almost as good as a date, right? It's actually a really, really good way to solidify the bond. So the best way to play this actually is do this phone call, build that comfort, etc. And a little sort of like spoiler, I guess. I'm gonna like arrange to maybe do the phone call with her, but then when it's at all a hassle, I just say forget it because I have other plans that night and I just whatever. But the right way to play this, if this was the only girl on your phone, the right way to play this is definitely get her on the phone, definitely have that conversation, build that comfort, talk to her without the intention of meeting up. And possibly if it's going well, you can even like weasel a meetup. I've done that in these kind of cases as well. Once you get her on the phone, anything can happen. But at this point, it's so late at night, it'd be mostly just to build comfort. So I go, sure, smiley face. Phone call, I'm great with that. That's pretty much the best outcome at this point. Then an hour and 15 minutes later, she goes, any meetings I should know about? I'm all cozy in bed already, right? So she waited like an hour and a half, essentially. And I mean, whatever. She was gonna call earlier, she waited an hour and a half. I was busy, I had other plans, whatever. So at this point, I gave her not really a fuck off, but kind of like, look, I have my own life kind of thing, because I've been really needy and pushy in this tech stuff, and I now have a month to build comfort, so I'm not super worried about comfort. So at this point, I'm just gonna be like, look, I have a life, you missed me, sorry, right? Let her like regret not seeing me, but at the same time, not at all butthurt, like 0% butthurt, just like I got on with my life. So I'm gonna send her, LOL, I gave up on you and made other plans. Sweet dreams and good luck with your work. I'll text you from across the pond, right? And that I made other plans thing is kind of like a little bit of a like fucking like knife in the heart for her, in the sense that it's like, look, I wanted to see you, but you made it fucking difficult, so I went and saw another girl. I don't say another girl because that's not classy. Other plans could be friends, other plans could be whatever, but I want to plant that seed in her head of a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of a fear of loss, right? That she lost out. I want to get her a little bit reactive here, all right? And the phone call actually, to be fair, would have been the better thing overall, but at this point I was out, I was busy, so that's how I played it, okay? So this is up to the point where she flaked in the first place. So now we're gonna have this whole time in Europe, this 4 weeks in Europe that I need to keep it warm. Now, I don't text every single day, thankfully, because otherwise this would be a really, really, really long breakdown. But I do text from time to time just to keep it warm. And you'll see kind of how I handle that. And so then she goes, we could have talked for a few. I just always feel like I have bad timing whenever I call someone, so I'm glad I checked in. Good night and safe travels, right? This is her just kind of sort of trying revalidating, and it's actually a good sign. It means that she's reactive. It means that it's still on. It's very, very positive. But I want to reassure her. I don't want to end on a negative note, so I sent her one more text. I said, no worries, we can definitely talk and get acquainted while I'm overseas. Right? I'm totally cool to build comfort. That's what's missing. I can do that. So then that was on the 25th. So on the 1st, which I guess 6 days later, I want to say, maybe 7. I don't know how many days are in that month, but like 6 or 7 days later, I send her this picture with a double rainbow, all London, just showing her I'm having a good time, I'm out having my life. It's a cool, interesting picture. Thank you again, cameraman, for taking this picture. Well done. So all London. So she's beautiful, exclamation mark, didn't realize we can still text while you're abroad. Right? And I realized that, like, that's the reason she didn't text me back and didn't follow up. She didn't realize, like, she thought I, wouldn't have text service, because most people don't. Most people don't pay for text service when they're overseas. But so here I am making fun of her. I go, of course, it's 21st century, though I do have to apologize for the lengthy delay. Right? And she goes, no worries, there's free apps for international texting, but if you insist, where might you be now? Okay, and so this is on the 11th. And here, there's no point in texting. She's engaged, she's responding, I can't get her on a date anyway, there's no more comfort to be built, so texting back into continuing this conversation, in my mind, is absolutely pointless. Nothing served by it, all you can do is mess things up. And I love the idea of leaving it where she sent the last text. Most guys never ever do that. Leave it where the girl sends the last text sometimes. Leave her hanging. Let her wonder if she fucked it up. Especially she wrote a question, she's expecting a response, she doesn't get it, she's like, oh shit, maybe he doesn't like me anymore. So I like that. So then I wait till the next day and then I send her, I'm in Stockholm, little picture. Again, my travels are cool, my life is cool, you want to be a part of it. But at the same time, I remember you, I'm thinking of you, I know you exist. She was nice, hope you're enjoying it. I just moved to this other place a few days ago, which is closer, by the way, to where I live. So I say, nice, how does it feel not to live a million miles away from civilization? Sort of teasing her, especially in light of the flaking earlier, but at the same time, congratulating her and that sort of stuff. She's like, hi, it feels good, though I do miss the former parking situation a bit. All right, so that's on the 13th. I now wait till the 21st, so I wait 8 days, no text. Again, no need. Leave her hanging. Things are positive between us. There's not a lot more I can accomplish via text. The only way I would accomplish anything, by the way, is if I got it so on that I could do like maybe a Skype call with her and actually build some comfort that way, or like an actual phone call. But short of that, there's not a lot that's going to be achieved via text, right? So no point in texting back, really. And then I'm again going to send another value offering text 8 days later, which is this interesting like menu item, like Bizarro flavored ice cream, and I say, who could say no to that? And she goes, gotta go with the sausage ice cream, right? So she's responding every single time, this is really good, and every single time I'm leaving her hanging. So who looks like the cool person? I'm offering value, she responds, and then I'm too busy. So here I do respond, and I get in a conversation, I say, they're very interesting. By the way, what do your plans look like midweek? Turns out I may be back in town briefly. Right, so now I'm letting her know that I'm back in town. Now normally, I like to get back in town and not tell them, but this is another case, I'm back in town for 2 days. So similar to last time where I kind of have to push for a particular date, I'm gonna have to do that again. So here I'd rather prepare it in advance and at least do my groundwork and have her able to clear her schedule a little bit. So this is why I'm telling her in advance. Normally I wouldn't do that, but it's because I only have a few days that I can actually fit it in. So she goes, I was getting the impression you weren't coming back. I'm quite free and flexible as I'm off for the summer. Very different from last time. Last time it was like super, super busy, now it's free and flexible. And probably it actually is just a difference in schedule, but also I built more comfort, she likes me, so good things can happen there. Okay, sounds fun. I'm in town for 26th and 27th before I fly to the West Coast. Which of those is better for you, right? Again, it's down to 2 days. I'll give her both, but I'm a busy guy, conveying good things, etc. She goes, might be heading home for a bit on Tuesday, so Wednesday would probably work best. Let me know what you have in mind, Mr. World Traveler. When she's saying Mr. World Traveler like this, that's saying Mr. Guy who I admire, Mr. Guy who's cooler than me, Mr. Guy who I'm aroused by. So that's very, very positive, and we've also tentatively agreed a plan, so things are looking really, really good. So then I get in, I say, hey, just landed in the US, Wednesday sounds good, say early evening. Yeah, that works for me. I also don't mind taking the trip into Manhattan as you're probably all traveled out, welcome back. See how much of a difference, her having a better schedule, but more importantly, me building this value, taking this time. She's very committed, she's very bought in, she likes me a lot, she's willing to take the effort. So things are looking really, really, really good. So I say, thanks. So drinks in Manhattan around 7. She goes, sounds good. So at this point, by the way, up to when I suggested 7, this was my only date I had scheduled. So I was just scheduling her. Midway, like right about here, and leading up to this other girl suddenly comes out of the woodwork who I didn't think was going to be a date. And she starts making plans with me too. So now she wants to plan for after work. So now I'm going to try and push this girl to a little earlier. Right, because I have this girl at 7, I have the other girl at like probably 7:30 or 8 at the absolute latest. So it's going to be problematic now. Now I'm kind of pushing them right up against each other. And again, I'm only in town. This is like my last day in town, so I can't really move either one of them around. I'm kind of in a bind here if I want to meet with both of them. So I'm going to try and move this girl earlier. But I also don't want to be really weird about it, because if you get weird, the girls sometimes flake. So I say, let's do this particular place. And by the way, if you're free a few hours earlier, that might be even better. So I'm suggesting it would be nice if she came earlier, but I'm not pushing for it super, super, super hard. At this time, I'm kind of like going back and forth. I actually like found both girls like on Facebook, and I'm like looking at their pictures to remember, like, is this one hotter? Is this one hotter? Which one do I want to go with? If I can't make them both, how am I going to make it work, etc. So I'm really hoping she'll go earlier so I can make them both. If not, I'm going to have a tough decision on my hands. So she goes, I should be able to make it to the city around 5 or 6. That would be much better, especially if it's 5, that would be really good. 6, I can kind of work with, whatever, we'll see. So I say, perfect, smiley face. So then here, she's like, hey, so I stayed in this other place, had to fix some phone issues, heading back to the other place she just moved to soon. We'll try to make it to the location by 6:30. That's not ideal, especially because you're going to see later, I have this other girl planned right up against that. So that's kind of a pain in the ass. But what can I do? Like, it's literally at this point the earliest she can make it, so like just no problem, keep me posted. I'm just hoping it'll work out. She goes, heading out now, should be here in 20. That's at 6:15, so she's gonna be even later than scheduled. So she's now pushing really up into the other girl. So I say, sounds good, and then at that point, we just end up meeting up. And so we'll go to the date in a bit. But before we get to the date, I wanna get into the second conversation with the second girl, so you can see the lead up to that one and how I set up that date. All right, so here's the breakdown of the text from that second girl, the one that I met at the nighttime, the one that was a little more feisty, right? And so I'm gonna call back to that when I text her. Hey, feisty girl, was nice meeting you the other night, Todd, right? And she's gonna respond, would you stop stalking me, smiley face? Now this is a callback to what we talked about in the set, right? There's a callback to what you just saw when you saw the breakdown. And so she's putting effort in. She's trying to be cute, right? So even though she's giving me a hard time, the fact that she's using my joke, what she's saying she's in my world. She's in my frame. She is very invested, etc. Again, investment is the key indicator, so I know that she likes me. So because I know she likes me, I know she's trying hard, and also, again, remember, similarly in the other one, I have 1 day to make it work, and it's very soon. It's like going on right now. So I'm like, LOL, cute, what are you doing tomorrow? She likes me, I only have a limited time, cut to the chase. She says, working and getting a drink with the guy after you. Now, you could interpret this as she has a date with some other dude, right? And that's actually kind of the interpretation that makes the most sense. But that's like a very low value interpretation on my part. And B, if that is the interpretation, it's not really helpful to me. So I'm just gonna misinterpret it as though she means with me, right? So I say, drinks sound like fun, I agree, when are you done with work? So I'm gonna pretend that the most logical way I could take that is though she's inviting me for a drink. Now she may have intended that in the first place, she may not have, but of all the possible interpretations, that's the most favorable one for me. So that's how I passed the shit test of sorts. She goes, I get out at 7. So it seems like she's pretty on for the date, for the plans. I'm like, okay, cool, this is on, this is good. So then I just respond very quickly, sounds perfect, looking forward to seeing you, just so that's an extra little confirmation on the date. Then the next day, just to confirm the date a little bit and make sure things are on, I go, I'm near meatpacking, does that work for you, or do you have a better suggestion, right? So I'm letting her know my area, but I'm also updating. And this is why I don't like making super solid plans or super firm, exact plans the day before. Because if they're really exact plans, then if I have to text the next day, it's just like, so are we still on? It looks really low value. Whereas when I text the next day now, it's just confirming the plans and confirming the location. So I have that sort of like extra text in the bag that I can use if needed for scheduling. And if I need to, I can use it for confirmation without it being needy. So I think that's very, very useful to do. It's a good technique to use. So she comes back, sorry I can't make it, I have to finish a project tonight, I'll be stuck at work for a couple more hours, right? Unfortunate, that really sucks. What can you do? That's a legitimate, valid excuse though. So I try a little bit, to let her know that there's some urgency and whatnot, and also just deal with the situation. I say, okay, well, I'm off to Europe tomorrow, so keep me posted, but otherwise you may have to stalk me from afar for a few more weeks. All right, so I'm keeping it playful, I'm keeping it light. I'm letting her know I'm out of town for a while, so if you can make it happen, there is an incentive, but at the same time, non-needy, non-pushy, because if it's a work thing that she can't get out of, there's no point in trying to push her out of that. This is just a waste of time, and it's just gonna burn the number for later. So here it's just like, keep it playful, keep it light, no big deal. And she goes, don't worry, I've put a tracker on you, have fun and safe flight. So that's a little creepy, but you know she's just kidding. And again, she's in my frame, so it's all very, very positive. So now I'm in Europe, right? Now, similar to the previous example, I'm out of town, there's not a lot I can do right now to make it good. So the goal here is to just remind her I exist, remind her I care, show that I'm willing to text her when I'm not trying to hook up so I don't have an agenda. And ideally, I want to end it oftentimes with her ending the conversation and me leaving it, right? Her having the last text. So she looks needy, she looks like she's chasing, I look like I'm the one in control. So I go, this is, what is it? How many days later? So 5 days later. Thanks, had a dull moment in the Amsterdam airport, so I thought I'd say hi. Right? And she responds relatively quickly. And here I was thinking you forgot about me. How is Europe treating you? Right? And then I wait 5 days, no response, because I don't need to respond. Responding only makes it look like I'm not having fun in Europe. Right? So I wait 5 days, no big deal. I have to keep it for a month. I don't want to be texting 10 times a day. That's too much work. So I leave it. 5 days later, I text. You may recognize this picture from such text exchanges as the previous one I broke down. It's the little double rainbow with the exact same caption, "Aw, London." A lot of girls got this text. So now she wants to compete. She wants to participate. So now she's sending me pictures. She sends me casual Friday, whatever the fuck that is. About 8 days later, she responds again and sends me another picture. So see what happens when you leave them hanging a little bit like this and you don't respond. They start double and triple texting you. They start following up. They start leading and chasing. So that becomes very, very powerful. So now she sends me this little hula hoop thing, little video, me dealing with life. Super cute, super invested, very nice. Now I could leave her hanging again, but that's a little mean and I want to reward good behavior, so I'm going to give her a little encouragement. So I go, LOL, that's absolutely adorable, smiley face. That's it. Don't have to do more than that, but it's positive, right? Now, she doesn't respond to that, but again, it didn't really require a response. So now, 11 days later, long wait time, not necessary. I don't even recommend waiting this long. You should do like probably 3 days, 4 days at most. But in this case, I was busy, so it was 11 days. I send her a picture of the menu. How could I say no? Similar again to what you saw on the previous, right? Again, these are just good value offering texts. Same scenario, using the exact same text with both girls. And so she responds to the menu item, tobacco, foie gras, and sausage sounds deliciously bizarre, right? So again, she's bought in, right? And here I'm gonna engage. It's amazing for about 6 bites, then a bit too much. What are you doing this coming week, by the way? Not certain, but I might be back in New York City briefly. That message look familiar? It's very much the same message that I sent to the other girl, right? But this girl doesn't actually respond to it, right? Now, everything's been good. All the indications are good. So again, I'm entitled. I don't feel like I need to go back to square one. I don't need to like get all reactive. What do? ... question mark. One of those like power texts. So she says, hey there, besides working not much, text me if you're getting back to New York. Sorry, I've been swamped those couple of days. One little note, both with this girl and the last girl, when I said the I'm coming to New York bit, I didn't say I'm definitely coming to New York. I said I may be coming to New York, I'm not sure, etc. So it's not this definite thing and it's not high pressure, right? Not sure if I'm even coming, but I might be, right? So that way if they're busy, it's not a big deal. It doesn't seem like I'm like, here's my plan, I'm gonna see you. It seems less pushy that way. It's just a way of softening things. I knew I was definitely coming back, but I just softened it through my language. Okay, so here, I say, yeah, you definitely work like a New Yorker, meaning she's very busy. I'm in town for tonight and tomorrow if you can drag yourself away. And so she goes, tomorrow should be fine, what time? All right, well, now I have like this situation of having multiple plans all of a sudden. And now it's like, what the fuck? And I know that she gets off work around, I think it's like 6:30 or 7, what she said before. So I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna push right into that other date. So now I have both dates at the same time. It's very, very awkward. But I wanna check, I'm like, so, well, what time are you off work again? Work 7 again? She goes 6:30 to 7. I'm like, okay, so maybe 7:30 or 8 to be safe. At this point, I'd gotten the text back from the other girl that she could maybe make it like 5 or 6. So at this point, I'm trying to like, kind of make it all work out. And so now she's like, depends on where you want to meet, which is a totally fair question. But now she's being a little difficult on the scheduling. And normally I wouldn't care. Normally this would be perfect. But now I'm trying to push the 2 dates together. It's kind of a little bit awkward. But I send her the area. She says, okay, give me an address. I'll let you know what time I'll be there. Again, like not helping me with the scheduling. I kind of was going to try and push her a little later if I can, try and feel things out. But she's like, very much, I want to come after work. I'll let you know when I can get there. I was like, oh shit. And I know these kind of situations because what she wants to do, she wants to come from work, go to the place. She doesn't want this like time in between. If I try and make her go 2 hours later, that gets really inconvenient for her and she might actually flake because of it, right? She's like, oh shit, well, this 2 hours, like I'm just wasting my time. It kind of sucks. It's a big commitment. So I didn't want to break that. So what I ended up doing with the 2 girls is kind of scheduling them as far apart as I could and just making the best of it. So I send her the location. She says 7:30 then. And then I say, okay, sounds good, right? And then by the time I actually got to this, little spoiler for the date that you're about to see, but I'm on the date and it's running a little bit long with what I'm doing. So I text her, might be running a few late, but I will be there. And then she does text me when I'm here, I'm 5 minutes away. And then I say a couple minutes. She says she's outside. So, okay, I'll be right there. Sorry for the delay. Obviously, the delay in this case was I was on the date with the other girl, which you'll see in a second. But I just wanted you to see the meetup text for this one. So this is the text all the way up to meet up with this one. You can see how like the 2 dates are kind of pushing into each other and I'm having this scheduling issue, but I'm handling it the best I can. The good thing here, and someone made a point to me, I was trying to figure this out. They made a good point, which is don't tell the girl you're going to be late ahead of time and schedule it later. Just tell her you'll be at that time and then be like, hey, I'm running late once she's already agreed to it. Because that way you can push it back without getting that effect of her canceling on you because it's inconvenient. So that's kind of the way I ended up using it. All right, so let's look at the first date. Again, this is the girl that you saw the initial pickup of in the park.
You have this very adorable expression that you keep making, actually. It looks like very sleepy, but very like, I'm sorry. So yeah.
Much better.
Now that we're at a safe distance.
And the first one was just you, a random stranger, got to me in a park, which does not happen very often. Neither do I find myself in a park by myself, just hanging out. But it's a first.
I'm glad I could be amazing. I do what I can. I think it's important to remember to stay a little silly and have fun. Like, if I were to tell you, like, I want to do something like spontaneous, I'd be like, you know, let's go grab like a flight to wherever the next flight is going. Just do it. You're on vacation, I'm going to Phoenix, so can't really do it. But you know, if I was like, let's do it, would you be like, yes, or would you be like, oh my God, that's dangerous and risky, I can
I'm
never.
on vacation.
Really?
I mean, that opportunity never presented itself, but I'm all about spontaneity.
Okay. I'm surprised. Cute girl like you, no boy ever just said, I'll fly you anywhere.
No, has not happened yet.
Sorry.
I'm waiting for that moment.
Really?
Yeah. Got in mind.
Okay. Like LA.
What about it?
What about it?
I am That's why I got excited. When I was younger,
When you
I
were,
was
like,
actually
middle
very
school?
short when
Really?
I was growing up. Yeah, and then I had my growth spurt in about high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went from being one of the shortest girls in the class to one of the tallest.
Just trying to figure out what it was, like what that moment was.
I don't know.
I still think some boy broke your heart.
Not that early in life, no. No, I can't say it's happened.
Ever. So you break the hearts.
Don't want to say that. Just haven't really found the right person yet. That's how I see it.
I'm still a virgin, so it's cool. Just kidding. No, but I actually like really am. So like, if you thought like I was like a sure thing or whatever, just like
What did I miss?
it was a joke. Don't worry about it.
I know that. Oh man.
You are delightful in your way. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on, I'm close again. I get further away. This is like, oh, that's better.
Would you like some of mine since you chugged your drink?
Huh? If you're trying to get me drunk and take advantage of me, you know.
I don't think you can get drunk off of these.
Yeah. So you're a perfectionist. You only accept the best.
More or less.
I really hope it works out between us, because otherwise you'll be very disappointed in your life.
Why?
Because I'm the best.
Very confident this year.
I'll leave it to your assessment. Yeah.
So meet any nice European girls while you're over there?
Define
I'm
nice.
thinking about Prague.
You're thinking about Prague. Why are you thinking about Prague?
Czech girls are very pretty.
Pretty. They like American guys too. A lot. But
Sure they do.
I had a good time there. A good time in Sweden. But there's fun, and there's fun with substance. You're just like destroying it now.
Done.
You are officially adorable, just so you know.
Yeah.
I'm trying very hard not to be lured in by your feminine charms right now. So I'm gonna go back on the other side of the couch.
So note the very flirtatious vibe I have here. Like everything, I'm bringing it back to like man to woman communication, flirtation, a little bit cocky, that kind of stuff. Normally I'd be doing this a lot anyway, but in this particular case, I'm super pressed for time, so I want to pull her back to my place as fast as like really humanly possible. So, you know, I can't rush it, but I don't want to waste a lot of time either. So I'm definitely throwing in a little more gamey elements than I normally would. Again, remember I have it stacked, so I'm meeting the other girl right afterwards. So keep that in mind as you're seeing this, but also keep in mind this is a pretty good game, and it did end up working really well. So keep that in mind too.
You are interesting. Let's just leave it at that. You're interesting. I agree. Okay, so here's the plan. There is a liquor store 2 doors down. We get we don't have to drink a whole bottle, by the way. We'll get like a bottle or whatever, because that's how they come, of whatever you like. Something sweet and girly, hopefully, so I like it too. And then Rooftop and go. Shall we? I agree. Totally rushing on me though, okay? I can't deal with it. Can you really?
I mean, it was the only language offered at my high school,
Okay.
so I got to skip a year because it was very similar to Polish.
Ah, so you were just like very good. You're a quick study student.
Are you serious?
You're a quick study. What? Well, technically not at the moment. But yeah. That was a weird situation. It's like this is where I did live, and then I'm semi-subletting it to someone who's like he's out of town right now, but then subletting it to whatever and staying somewhere else. But yeah.
All right, so you saw that my premise for moving her around was let's grab a bottle of wine and then let's go up on this rooftop. It turned out there actually is a rooftop that I go to there, but it turned out to be closed in this case. So I wasn't able to actually go up there, which ended up being somewhat fortunate because I was pressed for time on a little bit. Normally I'd love to go up on the rooftop and have things go well. So as it was, went up to the rooftop, couldn't make that happen. So then I took her back downstairs and to the apartment and started getting a little bit physical, a little bit sensual, that kind of stuff. Ended up with a very interesting moment where things are going really, really well. We're like really close to potentially having sex. But then it's pressing up on the next date, and I'm not 100% sure it's going to go down. And so this moment where I'm like, well, I got to tell you, I have this kind of business meeting. I have to attend it, but I'd love to like see you afterwards if I can make it go quickly. How do you feel about that, etc. And we're like nose to nose, like we've been kissing, and she's like, how long do you have till this business meeting? As in like, is there any chance we can have sex before the meeting? And I was like, no, it's like literally right now. So I made an interesting decision to kick this girl out, go meet up with the other girl. But I wanted to stay in touch with this girl in case, because I was having a good time. I was like, it was good as far as it goes, but I had remembered in my mind the other girl being the better candidate. I had a little more fun with her on the initial pickup. I was excited to see her, so I wanted to at least go check. And so I kind of risked this one. Like I was very close to it. I wish she'd shown up earlier. If she'd shown up earlier, it would have been easy. We'd already just have sex and it'd be all good. But because of all this, I'm kind of rushing it. Ended up kicking her out, but trying to keep in contact. Rushing out to go meet up with the second girl for that date, which is what I'm going to show you now, is that second date.
See?
So anything interesting?
About what? Me? I'm boring.
You're boring.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I apologize in advance. Maybe tragically disappointed. I'm cute, but like,
Who said that?
it's like with dogs, right? You have like the really like purebred cute ones that are really dumb, or you have like the mutts that are
So you're
like
like cute.
well, I mean, like look at me. I'm obviously dumb. You can't be this beautiful and be smart.
Can have both, right?
That's not.
Well, I'm beautiful and smart. Maybe I'm the exception. I don't know. You're
Beautiful, smart, arrogant,
I'm not arrogant.
sarcastic.
I am sarcastic and cynical, but I'm not arrogant.
That's kind of amazing too,
yeah.
right? And so like I was like, this girl is either gonna be like a royal pain in my ass, I'm gonna hate it, or I'm actually have a really good time with her, and we're gonna have like genuinely like cool shit.
Yeah, why would you waste your time lying? Like, I don't get it. I don't get people who lie.
Okay.
Because
So-
at least you can be arrogant, like I am apparently, and not waste your time on lying.
Glad you're
to
going
someone.
with me on that.
Yeah, and not waste your time on lying to someone, right? Why would I lie to you? It's really short.
I'm sad about your hair. I like it this way too, but like I'm sad because I liked.
The long hair.
No, actually the long hair was good. I like the like half shave thing. It was kind of cool.
I had it for 6 months. That was enough. I need to grow up.
Yeah, you need to. You say grow up?
Yeah.
Oh God, never grow up. Please never grow up.
The trap, they say, huh?
Alright, okay. If we're gonna be like
Friends.
an item or cool friends or whatever we end up being, whether
No,
friend,
item.
romantic, whatever it is, okay?
Uh-huh.
Don't look at me like that. I see that look you're giving me.
No, I'm listening.
uh-huh.
And see, I moved my position so I can listen better.
I appreciate that.
I'm facing you now. Nice. You were saying if we're gonna be an item.
You say hi. You just face me and say hi. You're like, hi.
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 Hi. See, I did something you know.
No. I'm gonna tell you something in your ear. I love that you thought that, but okay. You're so arrogant. You are so like legitimately arrogant. I've known you for 5 minutes. I've known you for 5 minutes, literally. Really?
So a couple quick pointers here. Number one is notice the theme that I have in both of these dates, that theme of adventure. I want it to be adventure, fun, don't grow up, just be playful, go live in the moment. All these are themes that lead towards spontaneity, leads towards one-night stands, all that kind of stuff. Then what you just saw here, which is really interesting, is I actually was testing to see if I could kiss her. But then when she resisted it, I like made it like it was her fault, like she was trying to kiss me, right? I do that kind of stuff a lot where like I'm testing just enough, but then I'm not being so obvious. So if they respond negatively to it, then it's like, oh my God, you're thinking of kissing me? No, not even. Come here, right? And so it's kind of back on them. So it's just like heads I win, tails you lose kind of a situation where no matter what, either I get the indication I can go ahead and escalate, or if not, I make it look like they're trying to escalate on me. And so it's like I'm the one who's shy, I'm the one pushing them away. So either way, it kind of works out. Also bear in mind, during this date, I'm actually texting the other girl. I took a bathroom break at a certain point, and I went and texted and found out what was going on with her and see what's going on. So in general, because that's a possibility, I'm pushing this to go quickly throughout the entirety of the interaction.
So basically, I can relate to people my age.
So as your elder, someone who can clearly teach you something about the world. What?
An email from work. Just to see if it's urgent. If it's not, I'm going to answer tomorrow.
You do the thing. I'm going to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back, okay?
All right, go.
I'll be right back.
Okay, at this point, we actually had an audio issue, so we lost audio for the rest of it, but you can kind of see overlays, basically. I see the pull home kind of the same way, grab a bottle of wine and let's go back. Rooftop, same thing, even though now I know the rooftop is closed, I know it's a good excuse. So it's pretty much the exact same procedure. Take her back to the place, end up hooking up with her. Meanwhile, I'm keeping the other girl kind of on the line so that I can end up doing both. So when I was texting on the date with the other girl, I texted this. Did you find your friends? This meeting sucks, would much rather be getting drunk with you, and then sort of like slanty face, right? So I'm keeping her on and letting her know that I'm definitely down to still meet up, like keeping it alive, right? And in the meantime, I'm trying to pull the other girl pretty fast. So she goes, no, but I did find an Urban Outfitters. So now I say, find something cute for our second date, right? And we've talked about the LA thing for the second date, but we've also talked about meeting up right afterwards. So either way, it's a little ambiguous. But the point is, I'm letting her know, again, I'm down, I'm in the area. She was really into me. It's only been maybe half an hour at most, so she still remembers it very strongly. She's still probably really on. If anything, she's a little devalidated by the fact that I like kicked her out. So she probably really wants to see me, but I want to keep that alive. I want to keep that spark so she doesn't give up and go home or make other plans or anything like that. She says, haha, wouldn't you like that? As in the second date. Wouldn't you like the second date? I say, if our second date were in a few hours, would you object? So again, I'm hinting very strongly, like, would you like to meet up? Let's make this happen. Let's have it go. So now she sends me a picture of her in the dressing room of the store in like this dress, you know, kind of like showing off her legs and her butt. She says, what do you think? Right? Looking for validation, playing along, being into it, exactly what I want to see, good things. So I go, sexy, wear that and drinks are on me all night, right? Just encouraging her. I just want to keep her like turned on, aroused, remembering me so that whenever this other one ends, whether it ends quickly or if I am able to pull or whatever happens, I have the option open. I'm trying to play both sides very strongly here. She goes, LA appropriate? Ha. Okay. So I go, definitely. Still in Manhattan? Question mark. Are you still in my city? If so, time to meet up. Let's make this happen. She goes, stumbled on the Namaste bookshop. Interesting stuff. And so here I go, meet you in 30 minutes. And she goes along with it, right? And then the next text we see is, I assume you got home safe, was good seeing you. But in any case, what ended up happening is I went across town, met up with her, and then we ended up, it was actually super on at the moment she left, like super sexual. But when I got back, I had to sort of restart things, and she was still very into me, but there's a little bit of trust and comfort lost, so I had to take her on like kind of a real date. So I actually took her for dinner, had drinks with her, spent some time, took her back to the hotel room where I was staying. The place that I was at wasn't really like where I was staying. It's just a place where I happened to have access. So I took her back to the hotel I was actually staying at, and we ended up actually, consummating our relationship there. And then, so I said, I assume you got home last night, was good seeing you, and she does, I did, thanks, and likewise. All right, so everybody was happy, things were good, and I was able to play both sides of the fence successfully. It's a risk. It's definitely a risk kicking her out and going with the other girl, but it turned out to make it much more epic in this particular case.